Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Big City Greens, episodes 11 and 12. It's it wasn't long of a break, right? We put Big City Greens on hold. We kind of took out that entire slot, but then we ended up bringing it back pretty quickly. And that was kind of always the plan, that it wasn't going to stay out for long, that it was going to be brought back quickly. Um, because I'm not at the point where I feel like I need to actually take a genuine break yet. Um, if it gets to that point, we can take care of that then. But I'm still very into this. I'm still like very invested, very excited to see where this is going to continue to go. It's a fun series. It has some likable characters, and I'm into it. Now, I have no idea what's going to continue to happen because it's very episodic, as I've stated in the past. Um, and because of that, it's kind of impossible to really guess as to where this is going to go. You just never know, really, and that does add some fun to it. It does add a little bit of excitement, not knowing where it's going to go. So it gives a completely different feel from something like the Owl House, where you can like kind of guess what's going to happen because it's episodic and has this, or not episodic, it's serialized and has this ongoing story and everything, or a lot of shows like that. But with a episodic show, that is one benefit to them. That sometimes it can be exciting to just kind of experience it. But the humor, the entertainment, all of it has to be like really strong to, at least for me, to get me to be invested in it when it doesn't have any notable kind of story. Um, because that is something I look for in animation and in media in general. I look for story and character. Like that's those are kind of my biggest um, things of importance within a piece of media. And a lot of games can get away with not having that, especially if they're like little fun, just party games or shit. But it's like, or puzzle games, they don't have to really even have a story much. But it's like, if the game has a story, it's like, I'm going to be judging it on that. Um, but yeah, the point is, I don't know where this is going to continue to go because, as I've stated in the past, it's like you can only do so much with an episodic show. If you try to run it too far, you're going to run it into the ground, in which case you're just going to be repeating ideas and you're just not going to have anything new to say. Um, the only thing you can do at that point is take from popular culture of the time and just the world at hand. And in that case, it's just like you're not really coming up with anything of your own, you know? You're just like, oh, the world's in a pandemic, let's make something based off of that. Um, Something happened with this political um, head of state, let's do something with that. It's like, you're not actually coming up with ideas, you're just taking ideas from the world around you, which is part of, making a series too. But you have to come up with your own ideas as well. You have to, and it has to feel natural. If you're just referencing the world around you, oftentimes it just feels maybe a little forced. So I'm hoping that this series doesn't end up going on too long, like something like The Simpsons, because The Simpsons just lost a lot of its luster, and there is exceptions to that. There are things that they still do that end up being pretty good, but yeah, it's not quite the same anymore. I'm not even usually the one who says that kind of shit. I'm not like the old old woman complaining about cartoons back in my day and shit. Like, that's very much not my thing. But it's like Simpsons. It's again, it's just repeating shit at this point. It's not new. It's not fresh. It's not interesting anymore. It's gone on way too long. It just has. Like, even shows like Doctor Who change it up by, changing the characters and everything. They actually still have room for growth in that regard. And for making new things. But stuff like The Simpsons really doesn't. Anywho, enough rambling about other shows. Let's get into this show. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Really good set of episodes to get to here. I was gonna say return to, but again, we didn't really have much of a break. I just put off recording this for a little more. But good set of episodes here. The first one, Photo Op. This one actually had a really good kind of lesson in the end. And it was a lesson that Bill had to learn, not the kids, which I actually think is honestly kind of needed. In a show like this, like, showing that the parents and the adults can make mistakes too and that they have lessons to learn is important. And I think it's something that a lot of shows have avoided because, especially in the past, there was always this idea that the parents are always right. The kids, like, the parents always know what's best for the kids. The kids are, not smart or experienced enough to understand. It's like the parents are always in the right. And that idea has always been exceptionally toxic and just plain false. And I've always hated that concept. It makes no logical sense. And it's just wrong. It's just, like, in actuality, wrong. So, I like it when shows tend to show that adults can be wrong. That they can make mistakes and do bad things. And so I really like that the kind of message to this, that Bill was forcing his family into something that they didn't want to participate in while, tricking them with something that they would want is wrong. It's just actively a bad thing to do. And it's a lesson that he has to learn, that he can't force this ideal memory, this ideal life on his family, that he has to let them live in a way that makes them genuinely happy, in a way that is, helpful. Because if you force your family into things like that, if you force them to take part in things they actively do not want to take part in, it's not going to turn out the way you want. As you see in the photos, they're not happy. They're miserable. He promised them this food court. They were excited for it. He got their hopes up. And then he took them away by forcing them into this. And having this entire chase throughout the mall to force them into it. That's not okay, no matter how you look at it. It's just not. So, the fact that at the end he realized how wrong he was, even though, like, they could Photoshop the pictures to make them look less miserable and everything, it's like he realized that he would still know how upset he made his family, and that would bother him. He realized that it wouldn't actually mean anything to get those photos now. And so he took them to the food court and realized is like they're happy here. This is what they wanted. This is the happiness he wanted to capture. And Tilly comes up with an idea using her Tilly ways because she misunderstood what he had said before. And also what he said before was also just bullshit. But she also took it to a very serious degree and lied about there being a hair in her milkshake to get her money back. At which point they went to just a photo booth. And like I said at the end of that episode, it's like I think photo booths are more genuine anyways. Like you see like a lot of photo booth shots, they typically tend to be a lot more goofy and silly and whatnot. But then you see like a photo studio picture and it's like it's so set up. It's so fake, if we're being honest. It's so forced, it's so unnatural, it's so just set up. To where it's like, that's not even like, you look at a photo from a studio and it's like, that's not even me. Nothing about this picture represents me. And it's really disappointing to see that kind of stuff. To know that kind of stuff happens. I've never been a fan of that. I've never been a fan of the entire photo studio setup photo kind of situation. It's too sterilized, in my opinion. And again, it just doesn't represent reality. Photo booths are fine, but like a photo studio thing, and my family's done it multiple times. And yeah, the photos can look nice. They can. But it's like, looking nice means nothing if it's fake. You know what I mean? But then we have our second episode, which I don't remember the full title. I just remember Remy's name was in it. But we find out that Remy is the child, the son of rich parents. His mother's a lawyer and his dad is presumably a basketball or a football coach. Wow, I went through all the sports there. Is presumably a football coach or something, based off of the things he was saying. And again, they can, like, both coaches and lawyers can make a good amount of money, depending on different factors and whatnot. I do not think they would make enough money to have a big-ass mansion like that. That's a little hyperbole, I feel. Unless, like, she's, like, the best lawyer ever, like, district attorney level, and he's, like, a top NFL coach. Like, that would be, like, the only kind of way, and that's even stretching, I feel. Unless maybe, like, they inherited the mansion, like, from their parents, and maybe their parents were, like, more classically wealthy or something. I don't know. But either way, so his parents are wealthy and try to force him into doing very stereotypical wealthy parent things, or wealthy kid things, I guess, technically. Violin lessons and different kind of lessons like that. Focusing on being prim and proper rather than, being a fucking kid. And Remy has been sneaking away from those lessons to hang out with Cricket and all without telling his parents. Well, they finally find out because Cricket answers Remy's phone and they take him away, saying that they're going to bring him to boarding school. However, while they're out of the house, Cricket and Tilly break in, and they try to help Remy by, like, locking down the house and messing with the butler / bodyguard Vasquez. I don't know, like, exactly what his position is, but he's also very nice. He's very friendly and very polite, and it's like, yeah, makes sense. He's voiced by Danny Trejo. Because Danny Trejo is actually really nice in real life. It's like it's kind of wild to believe he's a former convict and everything because he's so fucking nice. um, but yeah, so basically it becomes kind of like the parents are trying to get in, Cricket and Remy are trying to keep them out, but the Vasquez does help them get in, and they confront him and take him away. And only once he's in the helicopter leaving is he able to finally stand up to his parents and tell them he doesn't want to do shit. Which, because it's a cartoon and everything works, like in reality, it wouldn't work. I can tell you with very much certainty that would not work. In real life, if like rich parents were doing this, they would still take him to boarding school, 100%. Um, just being able to speak up would not do shit. Because the way the parents were, it's like it's very clear. Like again, if this were real life, they would be the kind of parents who would not listen to their kid, who would think that it's like, oh, we're the parents, we know better. Kind of going into the idea from the first episode, and it's like, we're the parents, we know better, so this is what you're doing. That's the kind of thing that would actually happen. And that kind of shit breeds resentment and even hatred toward parents in the long run. And yeah, it's not going, it wouldn't help anything, but that's how it would go in real life. So it's definitely kind of a nice thought and everything that it would end this way. It's very happy, but it's not realistic. Let's be honest. But it's nice. It's cute. It's a good ending. Because honestly, I doubt they would have it end any other way. They're not going to have Remy actually go off to boarding school. It's just not going to happen. Not in a cartoon that, let's be honest, is still aimed at kids. Even if adults can very much enjoy this. And it's very much a cartoon that adults can enjoy. There's a lot of jokes that just would work for anyone, really. But yeah, I still liked the episode. I still thought it was fairly good. So yeah, it was a good set overall. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these episodes of Big City Greens? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.